Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to talk about hijab. Many people talk about hijab, many people talk against hijab, many people inquire about hijab. So hijab, for my listeners, is the identity of every Muslim believing woman, and it's commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the very God that has created all the worlds, the entire universe. So we need to understand that Muslim women have an obligation to actually wear the hijab. Actually, all women in the mankind have an obligation to wear the hijab, cover their hair and cover their bodies from top to bottom. However, the women who practice hijab are following the God's command. They're not following their fathers, their sons, their husbands, their brothers' command. They're following God's command to cover themselves fully because they want to be modest and they want to have that identity pride in themselves as Muslim women, as believing women who believe that God, as the only creator and as the only sovereign, is the one to be followed. And because Quran says that the women should cover themselves, cover with an extra layer, cover themselves to be identified as Muslim women. It's an obligation. It becomes an obligation for Muslim women. So when we are talking about Quranic ayahs, they're not recommendations, they're not suggestions, they're direct orders from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we follow that. So remember, when you are actually accusing women, or we are talking about hijab, or we are talking about Muslim women being oppressed for being covered, think about it with a different lens. Think about it with a different perspective, that they're not oppressed, they're not forced, they do it with complete conviction. They do it with their own personal conviction to their Lord, Almighty Allah. So they're not oppressed, we're not suppressed, and we don't need your rescue mission for that. However, it's a personal observance. Everybody is at a different level as believing women to follow this hijab rule, follow this hijab command. The more you love your Lord, the more you obey. The more you love your Lord, the more you submit. So this is the form of submission. And we take pride in our hijab. We take complete comfort in our hijab. Nobody forces us. Nobody pushes us. Nobody, absolutely nobody has the power to actually help us remove that, or actually work for us to be out of this. So freedom from hijab or oppression with hijab, there's nothing like that. So remember that when you talk about hijab or talk against hijab next time, women who wear hijab, they wear it as God's command and with complete 100% non-negotiable, unapologetic identity as a hijabi woman who is believing in